finally got all the parts together for the tiller, and that job is done. This video shows me finishing it up. It was more work than I had hoped it would be, more work than I planned on it being. And in fact, I even had to go buy something new in order to get this job done. And I'm gonna give a review or a little, my opinion of how that worked out and whether it was worth buying or not. So let's just get right into it and get this thing fixed. All right, well, I guess the first thing to do is find this master link, get this chain off of here. Yep, it's that screw. Well, it's standard. Let me just take that out. Yeah, it's gonna fit. It's not a very good puller. I think this puller will work if it's not stuck real tight. I don't know. Maybe a little jar will help it. Oh, I need a new puller. Well, I got a puller. Let's see what we got here. I've never used this hydraulic type pullers before. Now, this is just a Harbor Freight. It's the 10-ton. This thing is pretty heavy. They had a 5-ton, but it was $20 more to get the 10-ton. I don't know. 5-ton might have been better, because this thing is heavy. Assuming that's a rebuild kit in the manual. Here's the puller jaws. They're pretty heavy duty. They're big. And the actual ram that goes on it. That thing's pretty substantial. The handle's in the top of the case. Now, I'm not necessarily one for reading directions, at least not till I have to. I'm going to assume this thread's on here. Most of these 3-jaw pullers, you turn around, have got an extra attachment point, so you can make it a 2-jaw if you want to. Three's better than 2, though. This thing's got a lot of stroke. Well, this thing doesn't have enough stroke for this to get on the shaft and the arms to reach the sprocket. So I've put this, it's actually pieces of manure fork in there to space it, and it's kind of a chore to get this all together. Let's see what happens. Well, it's moving. Well, this old puller is really stripped out and not very good. But maybe it'll be enough to finish it off. This one won't pull much, but that's part of the problem. It's not pulling real straight, but it's working. Well, let's see. Maybe this piece will come off. It's got the outer bearing race in it. I'll need to press that out of there. Now the inner race might be more of a challenge. Not sure how I'm going to get a hold of it. The other end of it is back in there too far. This is not the proper way to do this. But that actually did move just a little bit. Get two in there, maybe a little more even. Hopefully it's not just because it's spun on the shaft too much. It's moving. All right, it's spun. That's good. And it cracked. See if we can get in here and see that. By grinding this, then hitting it with a chisel, there's actually a crack in that bearing all the way across there now. Hopefully that's enough to break it loose, let it come off of there. Look at that. If you can find you a puller like this one, buy it. They're expensive, but boy, they're nice. All right, for the official, unofficial review of the Harbor Freight 3-ton, 3-jaw, 10-ton, 3-jaw hydraulic gear puller. The jaws are pretty heavy duty, seem to be. You simply turn this knob here to retract the piston. Pump it like you would a regular bottle jack. You saw what I did with it, what I used it for. And I guess the big question is, would I buy it again? And my answer is no. Knowing what I know now about it and using it, I would not buy the 10-ton. However, they make a 5-ton version that I would buy. I think it would be better suited for what I used this one for, and will probably use it for in the future. This one is fairly heavy. It's kind of awkward to get everything lined up if you're doing this by yourself. If you had an extra set of hands, it would probably go a lot better. The other drawback I see that I had with this one is simply that this piston, let me get this off of here. The piston that comes out when you pump this, you can see that coming out. This has about a 4-inch stroke. It will not stroke far enough to reach the jaws. You know what I'm saying? When it pushes in, it will not go all the way to make sure you have pulled your gear or your sprocket completely off the shaft. And I've got it adjusted for the shorter holes here. There's 2 sets of holes in these arms, so you can do a longer reach or a shorter reach. With the short reach, I was still, my particular case, about an inch short of being able to pull it. I don't know, but I would suspect the 5-ton has shorter jaws. I'm not going to try to return this. I'm going to keep it. And of course, I've already used it, so I really can't return it anyway. And I will be able to use it in future projects. However, if you wanted my recommendation, unless you're doing some super heavy work, I would buy the 5-ton one. And I wouldn't hesitate to buy it. I think it works pretty good. Now you can screw this up and down to get an even longer reach if you want. Of course, my problem was the reach was too long already. So the 10-ton 3-jaw hydraulic gear puller. It does just what it says it will do. Whether it does 10 tons, I don't know. This is actually the bearing that goes on the other end, but it should work if I take this collar, locking collar off of it. I won't need that. Pretty tight. All right. Tensioner spring back on here. Well, after a long time working on this thing, it's spread out over several months really, I'm finally getting my tiller put back together. Got to put the cover back on the chain. I did get my new PTO shaft cut and on here, so I'm good there. I even got half of a guard to go on it. I don't have a guard for that end. I guess I just need to stay in the tractor seat. this ground was pretty hard. It's ground that hasn't been worked before. It's not been disked or plowed or anything in years, maybe never. I went over it about 3 passes, and if you can see, get down, well, I'm that deep. That's a good 3 inches probably. I believe I got this thing working. I think I'll be all right. Well, that's another task done. I'm glad to get that tiller going. That's the first time I've used a tiller on a tractor like that. And well, on that old hard ground, it really didn't do bad. I mean, if you was to try to till up an acre or something, it would take you some time, but it does a really good job, leaves the dirt in good shape. Of course, part of that has to do with timing it right, having the dirt in the right condition, the right moisture level and things like that to work it. But I think it's going to work out. And I don't have too terribly much invested in this thing, even though I did have to put some time into it. Money wise, I'm not too deep into it. So I think it was a good decision. Well, if you've made it this far in the video, you might as well go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the like and the notification bell. If you hit the notification bell, you'll see the next videos that I'm putting out. And since I don't necessarily do them on a set schedule, it's probably good to get notified when they do come out, because you can't really count on me getting them out on any certain day of the week or anything like that. So I appreciate you watching. I hope you got something out of it. If there's anything I can help somebody with, if you got any questions on anything, why, leave something in the comments, and I do my best to read all of those and answer anytime I can. So thank you. See you on the next one.